I got some unfortunate news for y'all, man. Or maybe some fortunate news for some of y'all. But a lot of y'all, it's definitely unfortunate news. Unfortunately, Smackdown is reportedly going back to 3 hours at the beginning of 2026. Good God Almighty. Oh my gosh. Oh no. When I found out this news, my immediate reaction was simply no. No, 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 no. They are struggling to make 2 hours entertaining. Going back to 3 hours? Oh my gosh. Like, no, bro. Let me pull up this tweet. I've seen a few of y'all hitting me up about it, and I didn't want to believe it. But let me pull up this tweet so y'all can see what the rumor is. This is from WrestleOps. SmackDown will be returning to being a 3-hour show beginning on the January 2nd episode of SmackDown in 2026. Let me try to be positive first. Let me try. I'm going to try. The only upside to this is obviously there's going to be new talent maybe coming in from NXT or wherever else. I don't know if they're going to do some type of, draft at some point, get some more talent from Monday Night Raw to SmackDown earlier in the year or whenever they decide to do their draft. That doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because people be floating between shows every now and then anyway. Maybe they can do that. Maybe they can bolster up the women's tag team division on SmackDown. Maybe they can do that, bolster up the women's division for the mid card for the United States Championship. Maybe they can do that. Maybe bolster up the mid card because SmackDown roster wise is it's limited when it comes to their depth. So possibly doing that would make sense to have on a 3-hour show. That's the positives. You could have more time to tell better stories with different individuals in different classes, and from the mid card to the lower card to the tag team. You can fill out the show with the mid card scene and build them up, right? Cool. That's in a positive, practical way, right? If you're thinking positively. But if you're thinking like me, and you've been down this road before when it comes to WWE and their 3-hour weekly shows, whether it was Monday Night Raw when it went to 3 hours, or whether it was SmackDown when it went to 3 hours, doesn't matter if Triple H is running the show or Vince McMahon is running the show. We have seen this time and time and time again, where they have been given a 3-hour show, and within 3 hours, absolutely nothing really happens. Or if something does happen, it happens in either the first hour of the show to get people to tune in, or the last hour of the show to get people to stay watching. And then everything else is a whole bunch of filler. Everything else becomes a whole bunch of filler-ass matches and promos and segments. And what I mean by that, we get a whole bunch of rehashes and repeats. That's what we end up getting. Just rehashes and repeats. Rehashes of matches we just saw last week. Just switching up the people around. We get that now, but it's going to probably be even worse because we was getting it when they were 3 hours. And even now, they are having such a tough time really booking these 2-hour shows to be anything of entertainment value. What makes you think it's going to be any better with quote unquote new talent coming up from NXT or wherever? No, You give them more time for them to still not push the people that they need to push, still not come up with creative booking decisions that make people want to get involved and engaged every week. Like, what are we doing? You just extended the boringness to an extra hour. I enjoy my Fridays. I appreciate SmackDown even when it's boring. From starting from 7 my time all the way to 9, I still have the rest of my night to do things. But now you extend it to 10? No, bro. If y'all remember, for the longest time, we weren't really watching SmackDown that much. Right, we would skip a few episodes if we felt like nothing was going on those 3-hour episodes because a lot of times nothing was going on. We're not talking about the few times where there's things that were actually cooking with the show that wanted to keep you watching. And those episodes happen here and there. Hell, even with the 2-hour episodes, there have been some pretty good SmackDowns. There's been some pretty good SmackDowns this year. But the 2-hour spot is the sweet spot. Triple H himself has come out in the past and said it is really hard to book a 3-hour show every single week. He has said it himself. The only reason why we ever got a 3-hour Raw in the first place many years ago is because of the money. They made so much money in that third hour. USA is a big proponent of that. That's what they want. They're trying to get as much money out of this program as possible. Now, hopefully, this is a situation where it's just only for the first 6 months, and then the later 6 months of 2026 will just be a 2-hour show, like they kind of did this year. Hopefully, that's the case. I don't know if that's going to be the case. Maybe that's the thing that they have going with SmackDown. Is the first half of the year is a 3-hour show. The later half of the year is a 2-hour show. But for me, I've always felt like SmackDown should own, well, any wrestling show should only be 2 hours, 2 hours 30 max for a weekly television show. Only because you have PLEs that are roughly around 3 to 4 hours. You don't need that. Sometimes less is more. It is. And for those who say, well, people don't get an opportunity to be on the show, you know they can still have these same talented individuals that don't be on the show for a 3-hour show. Doesn't matter how long the show is, they got to want to use them and use them correctly. So it doesn't matter if it's a 3-hour show, 4-hour show, 5-hour show, you could still be stuck in catering regardless of how long the show is. So that notion that, oh, it gives people more opportunities, no. How many times have we watched 3-hour shows of Raw and SmackDown for people to still be sitting in catering or they get booked into oblivion? 3-hour show and multiple squash matches. Am I tripping or am I remembering things differently? Because I remember when shit was like that. I'm sorry, bro. I'm not one of the positive people in this situation. I know there's going to be some of y'all that actually enjoy 3-hour Raws and SmackDown. That's great for you. I'm not here to tell you any differently. I'm only here to give my opinion. And my opinion on this shit is not the way to go, personally. I understand why they're doing it because USA trying to make that money, WWE trying to make that money. So I get it. From a business standpoint, it makes sense, especially if there's nothing there for that first 6 months in that time slot. Fuck it. They get more money out of it. I get that. But from a viewer standpoint, watching this shit now at 2 hours and it's boring, what you think is going to be majority of the time when it's 3 hours? I don't trust them when it comes to giving a compelling, entertaining SmackDown consistently for a 3-hour show. I don't. Will there be some good episodes? I'm sure there will, because there's been some good 3-hour episodes. But those are few far in between. It's not a consistent thing because it's hard to do that for a consistent show that's literally a PLE or a pay-per-view length show. Every week, that's hard to do. That's just, it's you get fatigued. You get fatigued. There is a such thing as wrestling fatigue when you've just got so much on a show every single week, from the amount of 3 hour shows. Then you got the 2 hour and 30 minute Monday Night Raw. Then you got the 2 hour NXT, and then that's not including if you choose to watch AEW. And granted, you don't have to watch these shows, but I'm just saying you can have some fatigue there. Me personally, I'm cool on it, bro. Oh man. Ah. Comment down below. Let me know. How do you guys feel about Smackdown going back to 3 hours at the beginning of next year? Are you guys in favor of it going back to 3 hours, or are you guys not looking forward to it going back to 3 hours? Y'all let me know how y'all feel about it. Me personally, I'm going to be honest with you. We may check out SmackDown here and there, but we probably won't be checking it out as much. I'm going to just be honest with you. Unless they give us a reason to really be like, oh, we got to check out a SmackDown, even if it's 3 hours, I'm interested. If they can consistently do that, then we will, like we have in the past. But right now, the way the show is now, hell no. But I appreciate all love, support. Bro, 200K. Appreciate y'all kicking with me. See y'all next one. Peace.